Oh my god, am I drawing upside down? What is going on here? Let's flip this dog upside down and see how I did. Contrary to popular belief, drawing doesn't take talent. It takes practice and discipline, but it doesn't take a lot of it either. In this video, I will show you my top 5 drawing exercises that will help you to get from this to this in just a couple of weeks. First up, the hand warm-up. We do this with lines and circles. Grab a piece of paper, printer paper is perfectly fine. Grab a pencil, I recommend a colored pencil over graphite, and start drawing vertical lines and horizontal lines. We want these to be freehand, quick, and with a single motion. Now try your hand at circles. Again, a single continuous motion, just go over and over and over the same area. But here's the trick. Try to match your circles as much as possible. Now try some ellipses, going to the left, going to the right, horizontal ellipses, vertical ellipses. But again, don't just put random shapes on paper, put random shapes and then copy them. It's your ability to copy a shape that will determine how well you'll be able to handle a more complex composition later on. And don't overwork these. This should take just a few seconds to a couple of minutes. That's it. Think of it as a warm-up before an actual workout. A few stretches before you start lifting weights. Every new skill that we learn requires practice and repetition. To help you guys learn how to draw, I created this checklist and included a collection of cool reference images to practice on. If I can do finger pull-ups 3 days a week, you can certainly find the time to grab a piece of paper and a pencil and practice circles and lines. Scan the code, grab the link in the description. This is my gift to you. Go practice. Number 2, shape drawing. This is a composition that I'm working on with my private student. This is our reference image, and this is the sketch that I already made for it in purple. I'm going to doodle over this sketch to show you what I see in my mind's eye versus what I'm actually sketching on paper. But for you, when you practice this, practice the shapes on a blank paper, working from a reference image or an actual still life installation. The idea here is to reduce every single complex object, such as an apple or a vase, to its very simple basic shape. In case of my drawing, the apple would be just a circle, and I know the general size and shape of this circle. Next up, I'm going to draw this big bulge of ice cream, and it's actually the same shape. It's also a circle, but the idea here is to place it correctly on the page. And we move on like this through the whole composition. Again, this should be very fast. We're practicing using certain muscles in our hand, but we're also practicing tuning our mind to see things in a slightly different way, in a slightly different approach. So again, here on my doodle, the pear, for instance, is just a circle and a triangle. This pastry on the top is a cylinder with another triangle on top. All of the dishes are just ellipses. So every exercise builds on the previous exercise. You already practiced drawing circles and ellipses. Now we're doing the same thing, but we're actually adding a story. And it's also a good idea to doodle directly on your reference image. That way you get the muscle memory for where everything will go in the end. Our third exercise is shadow drawing. Set up a simple object, shine a really strong light on it. This is the universal sign for a flashlight, apparently. Take a picture. Even though working from still life, from real life, is actually very useful and very helpful, it can be challenging because you may move a little bit. So as you move, as you shift weight, as you sit back or sit forward, the picture will change a little bit. So I actually recommend taking photos of whatever you set up, if you set up real installations, and working from a photo. And since you're working from photos anyway, you might as well look for photography online. So Google Images is my best friend. Here, my reference image is this chess piece, and the shadow is very long and dramatic. Notice that again, I'm working with a purple pencil instead of gray graphite. If you follow this channel at all, or if you're a member of my academy, you know that I sketch exclusively with purple. Purple is softer on the eyes, and also working with a colored pencil is encouraging of not relying on our eraser so much. The difference in this exercise from the previous two is that we're now working with shading rather than with sketching outlines. Yes, I sketched a general outline of my shadow, but most of the work is done with actual shadow, with actually shading it in. My first layer is just a pale ghostly purple. And for my second layer, I'm coming in with a darker brown, burgundy, purple, a darker pigment. It doesn't matter what it is. Once again, this is a mind exercise. We want to trick our brains into copying the shapes that we see rather than trying to convey a story. A lot of drawing is psychology rather than the physical practice. We are transferring a 3D concept onto a 2D plane, and that's tricky. That's where all the warp comes from. So what we have to adjust isn't so much our skill, but the way that our brain perceives what we're seeing, hence all of these exercises. One thing to pay attention to on this exercise is how much pigment I'm layering closer to the base of my object. The shadow isn't a static shape. It's not an outline of the chess piece that's filled in solid black. It's a diffused, shadowy shape, and it's darker closer to the object. That is the nature of the shadow. It will be more diffused the further away it falls from the object. So this is also excellent practice for later when you'll be creating complex compositions in 3D. Our fourth exercise is sketching in negative space. We learned our shapes, we learned applying our shapes to a story, we learned basic shading. Now we're learning a shading that creates an object. So in this exercise, we take a single object. It can be anything. My reference image is this house plant. And what we want to do for the next 5 to 20 minutes is shade everything around the object without working out the details. Notice here that I did not draw any of the leaves. I did not try to sculpt my shape. I am simply filling in the dark areas around the plant and between all of the little stems. Is this how I actually draw? No, it's not. If I needed to draw a picture of this plant and deliver it to a client, I would not do this. This is an exercise. We are at the gym, we're doing our warm-ups. And what this does is, once again, it tricks the brain into working with what we perceive rather than what we think we understand. Don't worry about making these flawless. At first, they will be a little bit lopsided. You may want to start with a simpler image than this houseplant. You may want to start with something like a vase and just shade around it. Depending on where you are in your comfort level with sketching objects, you may go a little bit simpler or a little bit more complicated. I would consider this plant to be a complex object, yet it's still something that a beginner can handle. And it also makes for a really interesting piece. If you post something like this on social media, I guarantee you people will be impressed. And last but not least, let's put all 4 of those exercises to good use and draw something very complicated like this dog. But the trick is, we're going to draw this dog upside down. That's right. Take your reference image, take your model, and flip it upside down. Set it next to your drawing station and begin drawing. The purpose of this exercise is, once again, to trick your brain. When we look at something familiar like a face of a dog, our minds are too clouded by the emotions associated with the subject. Most people have strong emotions about dogs. I'm immediately distracted by the eyes, by the fur. Who doesn't love a goofy golden retriever, right? So if you were to sit down and draw this from scratch looking at your dog, you would be too distracted by the dog himself. When we flip the image upside down, it becomes just a collection of shapes, and that's familiar to us by now, isn't it? We started with copying very basic shapes. And ultimately, no matter how far you get in your artistic journey, you get to the point where you're working with hyper-realistic portraits, it all comes down to these basics. The art of drawing, the art of copying something that you see onto a page, is simply the art of transferring shapes. My eyes are constantly going back and forth between my reference image and my sketch, and I am simply adding shadows to where I see them on my reference image. Don't sweat the details on something like this. An upside down sketch of a dog like this should take you anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. No longer than that. This isn't about precision. This isn't about realism or hyper-realism. It's about very quickly drafting where everything needs to go. And with time, these will get more refined. Your first dog may not have as much detail as mine, and that's perfectly fine. We're looking for placement only. Alrighty, let's flip this dog upside down and see how I did. Not bad. Not bad at all. This actually looks like my model. I scaled it down for some freaky reason, but the proportions are accurate. The tilt of the head is accurate. The only thing that is a little bit off here is the expression. My upside down dog appears a little bit more concerned or sad than my reference image. A tiny little adjustment on the eye will take care of that. As long as the placement of all the individual elements is accurate, adjusting things like expression and shading and the definition of the eyes is trivial. It took me seconds to adjust the expression on this dog, and now he looks legit. Remember that we want to do this every day for at least 2 weeks. And now that you know how to loosen your hand and get in the mood for sketching and drawing, maybe you want to move on to something more involved. What better subject than human faces? Check out this video next and learn how you can quickly start sketching faces without excess geometry.